Good morning, good people, and welcome to another vlog. This is P9, and I'm back for another vlog in Selma, Alabama. This will be my second vlog in the historic city of Selma. I did my first vlog back in October of 2024. So if you guys haven't saw that, go check it out. But I'm back for another vlog right here in Selma. Selma, the seat of Dallas County, the historic city in the Alabama Black Belt region, in the heart of the district. And we start this vlog out in the historic George Washington Carver Homes, named after the historic peanut farmer, Mr. George Washington Carver, who founded a multitude of ways to use the peanut. And we're right here, again, historic George Washington Carver Homes, which was built back in 1952 and was a centerpiece in the civil rights movement during that time. So when it was built in 1952, the George Washington Carver Homes was the city's first and largest federal housing project for blacks. So it's a it was a federally funded project housing. And also during the civil rights movement in the 60s, it was a sanctuary for many of the activists that came to Selma who participated in the Selma to Montgomery March for voting rights. And right here, you have this poster of Bernard Lafayette, who's still living, looks apparently. And he was born in Tampa, Florida, but was a longtime civil rights activist and leader in the 60s civil rights movement, freedom rider and leader in the Selma voting rights struggle. In the summer of '62, he came to Selma as an organizer with the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, or SNCC. And while in Selma, he began speaking out about the injustices in the South. And he was severely beaten on June 12th, 1963, the same night Medgar Evers was murdered in Mississippi. But Lafayette survived and continued his work. So he kept on marching on. And in 1964, SNCC worked with James Bevel, Diane Nash, and James Orange and chose Selma in their struggle for voting rights. In early '65, Lafayette, Bevel, and Martin Luther King Jr., Nash and Orange with others organized as a series of public demonstration, which eventually led to the Bloody Sunday event and the Selma to Montgomery marches. So shouts out to Bernard Lafayette. So this is a poster of J.L. Jr., who was a Selma native who earned his law degree from Howard University and came back to Selma in 1958 and became the first African-American lawyer in Selma. Chestnut was key in the fight for voting rights and laid the groundwork for the Selma to Montgomery March, led by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in March 1965. Chestnut was considered a legal giant for voting rights and civil rights, and Chestnut defended Dr. King on numerous occasions and defended people against false accusations of voter fraud. And he was the author of the book Black in Selma, as you can see right here. He was also the lead attorney in the Black Farmers Class Action lawsuit in behalf of black farmers who were discriminated against by the USDA, or the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Chestnut also hosted a very popular radio program, A Public Conversation, 3 days a week. And J.L. Chestnut was one of the greatest civil rights lawyers of all time. So yes, that's him, Mr. J.L. Chestnut Jr., a historic figure right here in the city of Selma. Of course, they're going to have information right here for some martyrs of justice: Jimmy Lee Jackson, James Reeb, and Viola Luizzo, who lost their lives in the struggles for justice. So yeah. And again, the George Washington Carver Homes, there were a lot of, because there were a lot of people. This was kind of like the ground zero, the headquarters, so to speak, where a lot of the activists who were out of towners were treated with such great hospitality, fed meals and all this other good stuff. And this is also markers from Lewis Scott, a quote from Lewis: "I see with memory. At the age of 20, Lewis lost his sight in 1957 from glaucoma. He learned the language of Braille and other independent living and vocational skills during his attendance at the Alabama Institute for the Deaf and Blind in Talladega, Alabama. He opened a small convenience store in 1962 under the direction of Alabama Department of Rehabilitation. And the store was located in the George Washington Carver homes, or the GWC homes, or the projects. And it was during this time of the civil rights and voting rights movement, and set on the yards from two of the movement historical mass meeting sites, First Baptist Church to the right and Brown Chapel AME to its left. And Lewis operated this business for 47 years through 4 generations of families who lived in the George Washington Carver homes projects to ensure that their grocery and other personal items would be available." So Lewis, Scott had had this store right here up until 2009 when he closed the store when his health failed. So it was right over here, served the community of Selma right over here by the George Washington Carver homes. And this is the Selma Police Department, George Washington Carver precinct. As you can see right there. And let me get this right here as well. This is Amelia Boynton. I actually, if you saw in my first Selma vlog, I actually purchased a book from Selma, from that guy Columbus that I was talking to in the vlog, the brother Columbus. And I have a book about Amelia Boynton. And she was born in Savannah. She was an activist at an early age. She worked to register black voters beginning in the 30s in Selma. And she was a key figure in helping all Americans obtain the rights to vote. She helped organize the march from Selma to Montgomery, which took place on March 7th, 1965. The march, known as Bloody Sunday, where marchers were beaten, tear gassed, and terrorized by county and state police in Selma on the Edmund Pettus Bridge. So you guys, I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys remember those iconic images. This is Boynton back during that time. And that's her right there. She survived that Bloody Sunday march, and which is, of course, was very treacherous. And they have a little playground over here. But yeah, this is the historic George Washington Carver homes. This is their leasing office, it looks like. So under the auspices of the Selma Housing Authority, the historic GWC homes welcoming sign. And we're over here at the Brown Chapel AME, which looks like where they're doing work. This looks like some construction work doing over here. This was built in 1908, but it played a pivotal role in the Selma to Montgomery marches. And they even have this statue right here of Martin Luther King Jr., "I Have a Dream." You know, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., obviously a very historical figure in that march. That's this sculpture right there. And again, this building built in 1908, very historic. They're doing work right here. So I'm just going to keep it right there for now. But yeah, this is the start of this second Selma vlog right here in historic Selma, Alabama. Stay tuned for more footage. Coming to check out the beautiful park over here by the George Washington Carver homes. You got the nice flowers, the nice artwork decorated on the ground. So you see the soil and the flowers. And check this out, this really cool artwork right here. Good Trouble. says one has a moral responsibility to disobey unjust laws. So it's the letter from the Birmingham jail. It's an excerpt from and a quote from the letter from the Birmingham jail. So we all know what happened with that. You know, a lot of protesters were arrested. Oh, by the way, let me go ahead and get that right there. The artist of this beautiful piece of art right here, historic Selma. This is C Baby. It says CBABI. And you got Jesus Lives. I'm pretty sure C Baby probably did all of this. The murals on the wall and the ground as well, on the asphalt. You have MLK's name, of course, Dr. Martin Luther King. You have the keys right there that says hope. You have someone casting their ballot, dropping the can't be stopped ballot into the box. It says equity. And of course, you know, determination by way of all the marches and stuff showed that they couldn't be stopped. Eventually, the Voting Rights Act of 65 was passed. You have this, looks like a tree of some sort. This was by Mr. Chris. And you have March 7th. Again, this is by C Baby. March 7th, which signifies the date, March 7th, 1965, which is Bloody Sunday, where 600 plus protesters marched across the historic Edmund Pettus Bridge and met with the violence resistance from the, from the police and state troopers. And if your piece is missing, the picture isn't complete. Why? Because you're the most important piece. And that's from Joanne Bland. Shout out to Joanne Bland for that beautiful quote. Yep, sometimes might just be us with a missing piece, and we will be heard. Okay. Letting you know our voices will not be silent. We will be heard. And this again was by C Baby. Yeah, this is really cool artwork. I didn't even know they had this in Selma. This is my second visit, and this is when I was doing my research. I was like, yes, they have this, and I missed this the first time. But yeah, really cool. And they have this basketball court over here as well. They have this basketball court, and has the colorful art right here. Colorful paintings. And right here at the center court, you have I Have a Dream, the iconic speech by Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Yeah, really cool. More to see, y'all, so stay tuned. Yep, over here by this old River City Studios store. Here, right here, historic Selma. This is the Grace Temple Church right here, which was established back in 1990. And at that time, the Reverend Glenn King Sr. was the pastor and founder. So it's an old historic church over here, as well as this abandoned building that once upon a time hosted the True Value, Holly True Value, which is I believe that's a hardware store. True Value, I always thought that was, I think that's like a hardware store. Cross right here. Now this, guys, this is the old Depot Museum, which now serves as the Selma History Museum. As you can see right there, the Romanesque Revival architectural style. And this boulder marks the site of the Selma Navy Yard and the Ordnance Workers and it was destroyed by the Federals in 1865. And it was placed in honor of those men and who made great works, a base for war material for the entire Confederate and Army. So yeah, this is where naval ships and war material was manufactured, right over here. So this is where the largest cannon ever made in America was built, under the command of Commodore E. Farrard and the battleship Tennessee and several gunboats, which took part in the Battle of Mobile Bay in 1864, and erected by the Alabama Division, United Daughters of the Confederacy. So here you have it, guys, right over here. So Selma does have a kind of an industrial side. History Museum. And you can do a QR code scan, and you could actually do, you can learn about the history on your phone. That's a pretty cool feature they have right there. And the general admission for adults at this museum is $7. They're closed, it looks like, but yeah, at least for now, it's still early in the day. And yeah, it's really cool how they have those. It's manufacturing tools right there. It's like a wagon right there. And an anvil, they got an anvil over there too for iron. You used to make it iron. You see, hardware store, Summerlin Hardware. Shout out to Summerlin Hardware. Serve farming equipment and hardware. Okay, they sell feed and seed, fertilizer and hay. And there goes the bales of hay right over here. And they also buy pecans. Okay. It's commerce right here on Water Street. Then they have Spiller Furniture, which looks like they're going out of business. They have a going out of business sign. Spiller Furniture and Mattress. So they've been in business for 75 years right here in Selma. And this used to be what's called Central Alabama Company Wholesale. Wow, they have a slavery and Civil War museum. Huh. You can see right here. So it tells you about the history as it pertains to slavery in Alabama, Selma specifically, the Civil War, the consequences of the war, and how it eventually led to the emancipation of the slaves. And never forget, never again. Really nice, but very somber reminder of what transpired during slavery. You have a slave with a bunch of, scars on the back from the whippings. And you have the slaves picking the cotton, especially in the sweltering heat and humidity of the South. Very somber reminder. And, this is when, they had slaves on the market. And this is a really cool sculpture right here. This is like in a form of a shape. It looks like it's made out of iron. Green, black, and red. It's really nice. Represents the colors of Africa, which this is indeed an ancient Africa enslavement and Civil War museum. They got my boy Langston Hughes right here, Renaissance writer and activist. And the quote from the legendary Langston Hughes: "Hold fast to dreams, for if dreams die, life is a broken winged bird that cannot fly." Absolutely. No truer words have been spoken. And you have these nice painting of the black soldiers who fought in the Civil War, as well as the king and queen, the pharaohs and queen of Egypt. And you have the Egyptian pyramids right there. You have Fannie Lou Hamer, who was an activist, community organizer, and political leader. And this is a quote from her: "I am sick and tired of being sick and tired. If I fall, I'll fall 5 feet 4 inches forward in the fight for freedom. I'm not backing off. I believe that all men, black, brown, and white, are brothers." Facts. Shout out to Fannie Lou Hamer. And Fannie Lou Hamer actually hails from the Mississippi Delta. This is a really cool sculpture right here as well. Love to Africa. To love Africa is to love humanity. And they have this poster right here of Harriet Tubman, abolitionist and activist. "I think slavery is the next thing to hell. If a person would send another into bondage, he would, it appears to me, be mad enough to send him into hell if he could. If I was the conductor of the Underground Railroad for 8 years and can say I never ran my train off the track and I never lost a passenger." Amen. The spy and covert, conductor of the Underground Railroad, Miss Harriet Tubman. Shouts out to her. The Underground Railroad and its exodus of slaves from the South all the way up north for freedom. You have Ida B. Wells, journalist, activist, and anti-lynching crusader. "One had better die fighting against injustice than die like a dog or a rat in a trap. The way to right wrongs is to turn the light of truth on to them. Our country's national crime is lynching." And yeah, absolutely. Ida B. Wells. Shout out to her. And you have this fountain right here. It says, "Drink from the fountain of African wisdom and be renewed." Wow. It's like that water's dirty though. Might be some algae from the rainwater. And you have the African art exhibit over here. So apparently they have an art exhibit here, and they have the principles of Mayat, which is basically the Africans' version of the 10 Commandments, except there are like 42 principles of Mayat. So yeah, it's good that they have that out here. Either way you look at it, regardless of what their principles or what the religion is, I mean, righteousness is righteousness regardless. What's it say? The Hall of Beauty. This nice, beautifully wooden carving. And this is a nice carving of an African sculpture. This is really cool as well. The African Adinkra symbols. African American Enslavement Museum. And you have Mr. Muhammad Ali, who was born Cassius Clay, Louisville, Kentucky native, activist and boxing champion. Service to others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth. I know I got it made while the masses of black people are catching hell, but as long as they ain't free, I ain't free. Yeah, that's true. Cassius Clay, aka or Muhammad Ali, Ali during that time, even, in the midst of the civil rights movement, he was in the prime of his boxing career. And he, like he said, You know, as long as they ain't free, I ain't free. So even if he had, you know, in the eyes of the people, the masses, he had it made due to his phenomenal boxing career, he still felt the effects of what the black people, what his fellow black people were, you know, enduring. So we got the paint right here, the painting of the paint. And this, by the way, this Ward building, which is where this African art exhibit is located, is in the historic Ward building, as you can see, built 1915 with Thomas Purvis as the contractor. So very historic building. Honoring the city of Selma and men and women who marched into history in 1965. And this is what this lamp is dedicated. It's called Lighting the Way. Sponsored by Alagasco, the Alabama Gas Company. It's a condemned building right there. Yep. See, now I didn't know this was over here, but it looks like they have a modern, kind of like modern riverfront park over here by the Alabama River, right here in Selma. They have an amphitheater over there. So they have an amphitheater. I didn't know they had that. It's an amphitheater. Yeah, I don't remember seeing this the last time. Well, I don't think I came over here the last time. I don't think I came over here in the last vlog, but this is, yeah, the Riverfront Park. They add some modern structures. You know, it's really cool, really nice. Land and Water Conservation Riverfront Park. You see the Edmund Pettus Bridge from over here, and they also have a playground over there. So really nice. And it's through the Alabama Department of Economic and Community Affairs and the U.S. Department of Interior National Park Service, who funded the, you know, basically the development of this riverfront park. So again, you have that playground over here, and it sits behind these historic buildings right here in downtown Selma on Water Avenue. So yeah, you guys come down to Selma, come check it out. Modernized park. It was developed in 2020, 6 years ago. Corner of Green and Water Avenue. You have this property, which is taped off, but they have it for sale. So it's a 106 foot by 150 foot plot of land that is for sale. And it used to be, looks like a car lot for the old Depot Motor Company. So they had that for sale right there. As I continue down Water Avenue here in downtown Selma. Now, for some that may be watching this, especially if you either you're from Selma or the area, or you have family that's from Selma, or you know, and whatnot, this might be a little emotional for some people, what I'm about to encounter. So brace yourselves. I'm in the corner of Franklin Street and Water Avenue. Look at that. Yeah, this is fenced off right here. I don't know what they plan on doing there. Now I did cover this park right here, this Rotary Park with this artwork right here. I covered this part in my first vlog here in Selma. It looks like they it looks like they have some new art pieces here. Yeah, it looks like they have some new art pieces. So let me go check them out. Cause it has some, looks like they have a new art display because they had different art pieces. This one right here, really nice art piece. Selma, Alabama, reach back to move forward. This is called Return to Selma for Ward 1 by the community with the artist Shelby Toon from the Selma Rising Mural Festival in 2025. So this is sponsored by the Making Art Connections across Selma, or the MACIS. And this looks like this kind of looks like that Sankofa logo, so to speak. The same, Sankofa. Yeah, it looks like the Sankofa symbol. But here you have different, you have the Ankh right there. You have a few African symbols. You have the crown right there, Our History Matters, the butterfly, which symbolizes peace. It's really dope, and it adds power to the people. Really nice, really nice. And you have this piece of art right here. You have the brother with the fist up in the air, and through the lens of his shades, and you have in the frames a bunch of people marching for justice and freedom. And this is by the artist David Butler, Reflect the Past, Protect the Future for Ward 2. So this is by, again, Mr. David Butler. And I believe this is the social media handles right there. So shout out to, and it's Mr. Davis CRS and Dave PANT. It's really dope artwork. This right here is really nice too. You have the purple and kind of like turquoise color scheme right here. This is called Local Legends by Ward 3 by the artist Ann Smith Reeves. Shout out to Miss Reeves right here for this really nice artwork. And you have this sister right here. Where you have her with the fro, and you have the butterfly with the different colors on the wings. This is Dewan Moulton. Shout out to Dewan Moulton. This is a really cool, I like the little splashes right here of paint right here as well to blend in with the center part of the painting. The butterfly in the afro, that's cool. And the sister just looking forward with the golden earring right there. Really sick. And it's called Wings of Resilience by the artist Dewan Moulton from Ward 3. So shout out to Dewan Moulton. This also is a good image right here. It's called New Beginnings. It's called New Beginnings. It's by artist Robert Baines. As you can see, looks like construction workers. You have a sister right here. You have the clock right there. You have children playing, and it just looks like white, like looks like a red and white fence that symbolizes the American flag. It's really nice. You have the sun in the sky. It's really dope. Again, this is by artist Robert Baines. It's good that I came over here because I would not even notice that they had new artwork over here at this park. But yeah, this is really dope as well. And it looks like a church or a temple or something. And you have people just, you have somebody helping somebody up right there. Sister riding a bicycle. It just looks like a community oriented piece of artwork, and it's called, doesn't have I don't see a name for it, but I see the artist. It says Art with Duarte. If I'm pronouncing that right, I don't know. But shout out to Art with Duarte. And there's the Maca Selma social media handles. You say, I got soul, but I'm not a soldier. I got soul, but I'm not a soldier. Okay. Like some little kids, colorful background, you know, kind of has that that old psychedelic kind of look to it with the colors and stuff. It's called the Civil Lights. Instead of the Civil Rights, it's Civil Lights. And it was by artist Tom Triumph. Shout out to Tom Triumph for the Civil Lights. Tom Triumph from Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Yeah, this is dope as well. Look at all these colors right here. And look at the sister holding the flower or the plant right there. The plant in its early stages of development. And the sister with that, it looks like her hair, she got her hair out. It's blowing, it looks like it's blowing in the wind. Oh, that's really cool. Nice shapes and patterns right here. This is really cool. And it's called You Are the Light. You Are the Light by artist April Tsunami or Tsunami. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. It might be Tsunami or Tsunami. But shout out to her. And there goes her name right there, A Tsunami. Really nice artwork by April. And this last piece right here, we have what's called, it's called the We Are All Akachi, Hands of God. So it just looks like it could potentially be like an abstract piece, but it's definitely given like something you will see on the side of a subway in New York City, you know, on one of those subways, train cars. But it's dope. It's really dope, and it's by artist Winifred Hawkins. This was done for Ward 8. So shout out to Miss Hawkins, Winifred Hawkins, for this beautiful art piece. But yeah, this is the Rotary Park with the updated collection of murals and paintings. It's really dope. Well, this is the part where I said a lot of Selma natives or family members and whatnot will get a little emotional in this vlog, possibly, because this is the end of an era. This is the historic St. James Hotel that has officially closed. Now, the last time I was here in Selma, I think they were either in the process of closing or, you know, they were kind of like winding down to their last days. But yeah, it's a lot of history behind St. James Hotel, built in 1837. So it's basically shut down after almost 190 years. And yeah, it's crazy. Interesting. Hopefully they repurpose it. I don't know what the city of Selma's plans are in regards to this historic structure, but hopefully they repurpose it for something. It's always hard to replace a historic gem like this, or at least repurpose it, because it's always going to be, it holds a lot of memories, you know. As I stated in my first Selma vlog, right here, like when I was here I believe when I was in my teenage years, my grandmother had her, I believe it was her 50th class reunion. She had some type, I forgot what anniversary it was, but she had a class reunion and they had it right here at the St. James Hotel. Both my grandparents, my maternal grandparents, grew up in Selma. So God rest their souls. But I know if they were here, you know, yeah, they would be like, they would trip out the fact that this historic hotel is now closed down for good. But it sits right over here, obviously, by the Alabama River. So a lot of this part of downtown where I'm about to walk, I covered on my first Selma vlog a couple years ago, but this is just an update right here. So yeah, now we have to do this dedication right here for Miss Dr. Geraldine Alla for her lifelong commitment to improve the mind, body, and spirit. And this is on the Riverfront Walking and Bicycle Trail right here in Selma, Alabama. But Dr. Allen never met a stranger. She had an innate quality that was disarming and genuine. She worked tirelessly as president of the Selma City Council and director of the Master of Science and Nursing program at Troy University, in addition to her work in other positions within the fields of nursing and education. Now, Dr. Allen demanded excellence from herself as well as those around her, and it showed in her successes. And from an early age, Dr. Allen's strength and character was evident, as she was a Sunday school teacher, deaconess, choir, and youth director at her church, who fought for women's, minorities, and the less fortunate. And her legacy is alive in the lives she touched and the mind, body, spirit of us all. So shout out to Dr. Geraldine Allen. That's a picture of her right there, of course. And here's a quote from Miss Allen. "If I could help anyone during my life, then my living room would not be in vain." Absolutely. Yeah, that's absolutely true. It always helps to help someone, to help somebody, even if it's a small thing. Any type of help, especially on a spiritual, educational level, then yeah, that's definitely valuable. So shout out to Dr. Allen. Glad I came over here and found out about her. So let's continue. Is the Foot Soldiers Park, where they have the National Voters' Right Museum and Institute, and they have a display outside where you could go read up on the history of the Voting Rights Act. But over here you have the Harmony Club. Now this building is a historic building. The Harmony Club was built in 1909 as a social club for the local Jewish community. It's a 3-story Renaissance revival style architectural building, had red brick construction and a cast iron storefront. Previously served as the Elks Club, and it sat vacant for nearly 40 years. So from 1959 up until they underwent renovation in 1999, this building has been standing, but it's been standing for over 115 years, 117 to be exact. As I get ready to make my way down Lauderdale Street, you have this Selma 1 hour dry cleaners spot right over here. Now, for whatever reason, I end up missing this part of Selma the last time on my first vlog. I did get the Edmund Pettus Bridge, of course. Interviewed this brother named Columbus, which by the way is where I got this shirt. I'm wearing the shirt that I bought from Selma back in 2024, John Lewis shirt. But yeah, Selma Masonic Temple over here. And they have like a little artsy spot over there. They have like an arts studio or something of that sort over there. And you have some really interesting art pieces right here. You have this thing like it was attached to a bicycle, or, more like a unicycle. It looks more like a unicycle, but that's really cool. They have the chains and the iron pieces right here. It's like scrap metal, scrap iron. And check this out. You have the sax right there, and a trumpet, woodwind instruments. You even have some pool balls right here. Oh, this is really neat. This is really neat. It's like an ironing board. And they have information about Charlie Lucas, who has a studio around the corner on Lauderdale Street. And he's the descendant of generation of artists. His grandfather and great grandfather were blacksmiths, and he traces his talent directly to them. Charlie's work has been featured in many important exhibitions of Southern vernacular artists, including Souls Grown, Deep African American Vernacular Art of the South during the 1996 Atlanta Olympics, and The Roots of Spirit in Venice during the 2011 Venice Biennale. And Charlie has enjoyed numerous solo and group exhibitions over the last 4 decades and has always had sculpture on view at the museum, at the Montgomery Museum of Fine Arts, the Birmingham Museum of Art, the Birmingham Shuttlesworth International Airport on Broad Street, and on Broad Street in Selma. And you can enjoy his artwork in many books, including Charlie Lucas, Tin Man, published by the University of Alabama Press. And Charlie makes art here in his studio in Selma, Alabama, where he has led art camps for kids for many years. Oh, that's really dope. Charlie Lucas right here in Selma has an art studio where he helps, inspire, arts, or inspire kids who are interested in arts by leading camps. That's pretty cool. And I like this. This is really dope right here. It's like a face, but that is sculpted out of, different car parts. You even have the Oldsmobile rims right there, or the hubcaps, I should say, the rims, hubcaps. And you have this, what looks like an engine block. That's pretty cool. That's pretty dope. So I'm guessing that's his studio over there, Charlie Lucas. It's called Arts Revive. See if I can get a closer up of it. Otay Chrisman, made in Selma since 1946. Gallery 905. Yeah, that is indeed the studio. I believe the Arts Revive. It's a corner of Water and Avenue and Church Street. On Church Street now. Arsenal Place. And this memorial marks the site of the Arsenal, a unit of the Great Ordnance Works in Selma, destroyed by the Union Army, April 6, 1865. So they had an arsenal over here. Several men, women, and children served at this arsenal from 1862 to 1865. So, yeah, shout out to the arsenal right here in Selma. This is the site of it. And there's a marker, it talks about more in the detail about the Selma Army Arsenal, led by Confederate Army Captain James White, who was ordered to relocate the old Federal Arsenal from Mount Vernon, Alabama. And by 1865, it consisted of 24 buildings and had over 500 workers contracted for all manner of war materials, including 30,000 rifle cartridges a day. These materials were then shipped from the CS Depot to all parts of the shrinking Confederacy. And by 1865, Selma was producing 2/3 of all CS war materials and made the destruction of Selma the goal of Wilson's raid. Wow, that's crazy. I didn't know Selma they had an arsenal here where they manufactured a bunch of war materials. That's crazy. So it was basically on this street, modern day Church Street, where the arsenal was, like right up in here. So I wonder if that building over there was the original location of the arsenal, like the building where they did the manufacturing. Wow, check this out, y'all. I didn't even know this was over here. It's fenced off, but it looks like they have like a courtyard right over here. They have this courtyard and they have this really nice fountain over there. It sits in the middle and has a mural of a butterfly. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's a really nicely designed courtyard. So this is some of the government buildings, more or less on this end. Revival Coffee Company. Yep, that's the cast iron balconies right there as far as the building. Administrative building for the Dallas County Courthouse across the street. I don't even remember coming down this way. I didn't come down this way on my first vlog. So that's the whole purpose of this vlog, was to really capture parts that I missed on the first part, the first vlog I did. The Dallas County Courthouse right here. This is the federal building, the U.S. Courthouse Federal Building. This was actually this federal building architected by James Knox Taylor in 1909. At the time that it was entered on the National Register of Historic Places, back in 1976, Gerald Ford was the president. So it sits again right across from this courthouse, the Dallas County Courthouse. So yeah, this is basically like the courthouse area, district of the city, downtown area. Southland Company. But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to get for downtown on this second vlog. I just wanted to get parts that I missed the first time. If you want to see more, go check out my first vlog. Matter of fact, let me go down this way real quick. Let me go down this way and get the rest of these sculptures. There's a few more iron sculptures I want to capture right here on Lauderdale Street. Oh, that should be a dry goods company building. It's abandoned. And apparently this used to be a motor supply company, truck and auto parts, automotive paint, machine shop service. But check this out. I wanted to come over here and get this historic sign right here, the historic mural for the drink Coca-Cola. Relieves fatigue, sold everywhere, 5 cents. Now this mural, which was painted here back in the early 1900s, has been restored in the original colors to be historically accurate, using slogans and pricing from the early 1900s. Now the original Selma Coca-Cola bottling company was located here from 1903 to 1908. And this historical sign was restored under the authority and supervision of the Selma Dallas County Historic Commission. So shout out to the Selma Dallas County Historic Commission for restoring this classic Coca-Cola sign. So yeah, so this is where the original Selma Coca-Cola bottling company was located. So even Selma was bottling Cokes. Wow, interesting. I didn't even know Selma had a bottling company. They had a mechanical shop right here. But it's crazy the creative ways that people can make art. This piece of artwork, which uses old brushes from paint brushes, from the roller paints, the rollers from the paint brushes, was done by Dusty. Shows some individuals painting. This artwork display showing somebody playing the guitar. I believe this is another Charlie Lucas piece of art. So Charlie Lucas definitely has his stamp as far as the metal artwork, the iron artwork, scrap metal. You got the bicycle, classical bicycle, and somebody riding it right there. And it looks like a radiator. They use a radiator for the body part. Oh, that's crazy. For the abdomen. Wow, that's cool. That's so dope right there. Yeah, y'all see it. Look at these. Look at all these really cool art pieces right here on Lauderdale Street. Got the rim right there. Very dope artwork. Again, shout out to Charlie Lucas. And as you can see right here, here's the ad for the art camp, ages 8 and up at 9 Lauderdale Street. So 9 Lauderdale Street is where his studio is located. So shout out to Charlie Lucas for this really beautiful artwork right here along Lauderdale Street, downtown Selma. I'm over here at this grand mansion right over here in Selma, Alabama. Very historic building that's now a museum. Yeah, this is the Sturtevant Hall, which is one of the finest examples of the neoclassic architecture in the South, designed by Thomas Helm Lee for Edward T. Watts and completed in 1853. Now, it was sold in 1864 to John M. Parkman, 1870 to Emil Gilman, and purchased in 1957 through a bequest from Robert Daniel Sturtevant and operated by the Sturtevant Museum Association. So this is historic Sturtevant Hall. And you can see the Greek Revival style architecture. The iron fence, the wrought iron fence. Very historic building. It has the 6 Doric columns and a massive lawn, as you can see. Massive porch too. And they even have the wrought iron balconies over there. They have one on the side. It's just a really, really nice and grand mansion right here in Selma. Right here on Mabry Street. Grass could use a little cutting, but overall, nice little spot. They have, I'm not sure what that is right there on the outside. Good. But this Sturtevant Hall does serve as a museum. So a few houses on this street, as a matter of fact, on Mabry Street are boarded up. Like that one right there, and the one right next to it as well. And check out that vet. That's a nice Corvette right there. But right here is a cottage called the White Force Cottage. It's an Italianate style architecture that was built in 1859 by C.B. and Martha Todd White. Mrs. White, half-sister of Mrs. Abraham Lincoln, who was an outspoken Southern patriot who subjected the Lincolns to severe criticism when the Northern press accused her of using a presidential pass to smuggle medicine and other needed supplies through the lines to the Confederacy. And another sister, Elodie Todd, met her future husband, Colonel N.H.R. Dawson, while visiting here. And Dr. Charles F. Force, son of the noted archivist and historian Peter Force, purchased the home in 1869. His widow, Mary Matthews Force, one of the first postmistresses, and their daughter, Miss Mary Force, a beloved teacher in the Selma schools, lived out their lives here. And it was purchased in 1972 by the Sturtevant Museum Association. So this is the White Force Cottage. It too has the 6 columns sitting outside of it. And this one actually has like a little ramp. And I doubt that it's it's for residential use now. I think it's preserved just as a historic site due to the fact that it has the historical marker. But yeah, they have like a ramp outside of it, of the porch. Looks like one of the shutters is sitting, was missing off of one of the windows. And yeah, but dang, yeah, but you know, yeah, yep, so this was named after Mrs. White, outspoken critic of Abraham Lincoln and the Lincolns and all of them. So, wow, that's interesting. But yeah, the last stop is going to be Concordia College. Now, Concordia College is closed down, but for those who are, want to stay in Selma, but don't want to leave Selma, but want to go to school, they do still have Wallace Community College right here in the city. So you do have that as an option. But yeah, on our way to Concordia College. I'm over here at the historic campus of Concordia College, which was a private, historically black college associated with the Lutheran Church that was built in 1922. Now, it did close in 2018 due to financial distress and a lower enrollment. But this was one point in time the centerpiece of the university system right here in the city of Selma in the state of Alabama. As you can see right there. Now, the African American Lutheran Congregations of Alabama petitioned the Evangelical Lutheran Conference of North America to fund an open school for college to train church workers. So originally, this college was built to train church workers, but eventually it became a university that started offering bachelor's degrees. So, yeah, this is historic Concordia College. It's unfortunate that the university, or the college, I should say, closed down in 2018. It's completely fenced off, by the way, so I'm not sure what they plan on doing with the college. But yeah, this is the second black belt college, higher institution that I've vlogged on. Remember, it was Judson College, a former women's college in Marion, and now Selma's Concordia College, which closed down in 2018. But that brings us to the conclusion of this vlog and my second visit to Selma, Alabama. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in for this really cool vlog. Please hit the like button. Also, if you're new to the channel, make sure you select the subscribe button. And once you select the subscribe button, make sure you select all. That way you get notified every time I drop a new vlog. With that in mind, good people, thanks again for tuning in. See you guys on the next one. Peace.